your host for the evening. We have a very interesting session, or rather a series which we are starting. Apart from the others we have already started. This is totally based on numerology, and the person you're seeing there on the screen in front of you, or you are going to hear the voice of the lady. Her name is Renu, and she is a numerologist and associated with me and us from quite some time. Now, she will today throw some light upon the great subject of numerology. At the same time, we are also going to tell you a lot about her and why do we intend to take this particular series ahead with all of you. What benefits can you get from it? And obviously a lot more to come. So having said that, thank you very much for joining us, Renu, and being with us. Please do tell something about yourself, and I would really want everybody to understand from you that how did you get into this subject, what led you here, and what was that trigger point that you started seeing benefits in your personal life and other lives of people that you got intrigued and you started following this.
Thank you so much, Kabir, for inviting me and for the wonderful introduction. So, how I started, it's actually from a very early age, I would say I've seen astrology being discussed in our home environment, and my mother being the biggest influencer who brought spirituality and astrology into our lives. She believed in birth charts, different planetary movements, discussing them, that how their movement will impact our lives. So, though she did not know of it, but her keen interest made me inquisitive about the science behind astrology and numbers, their calculations. So, there was always a curiosity to know, what all these things hold for us, something which is beyond all of us. So, that is where my journey started. Knowing myself through numbers, because the approach of numbers is very logical. It is science which is easy to relate and imply on. So professionally, I have like 12 years of experience in HR. So I'm an HR professional. And at the same time, I had this keen interest of knowing the numbers. So got an opportunity, I got my guru. So somewhere talking about my life, I've been through some ups and downs, and there were situations which came along. So there were questions in mind, why everything is fine, perfect, but there is something, a low point, right, that we all go through. So why that circumstances or situations coming in our lives? So while I was introduced to numerology and I started working on it, then I realized that yes, people around me or me being part of their lives, how these numbers have started impacting in what ways. So actually, if you look at it, there are a series of events in everybody's life, right? So if we know what kind of events that might happen or is happening, what is the reason behind it? So the approach would be different. Our approach will be more mature towards it. Instead of instant reaction, we know why the situation is and how to deal with it. So that is where I feel that numerology, it's all about numbers, and yes, it impacts everybody's life.
Well, if you look at it, Renu, well, I follow astrology totally, and I do understand numerology too, which we have discussed a lot. Now, on the base of it, if you look at it, the entire universe is just based on like what, 10 numbers, 0 to 9, right?
Right.
And all the other numbers, these are the base numbers, and you can form any number from here, which also tells us that the power of these numbers are they are manifold, and each number has a lot of secrets stored in them. There must be a reason for it, right? And I'm sure numerology would be able to answer that. And the science is of the subject, deals with all that stuff. The interesting part here is that if we are able to understand what the life holds for us, or why we are born, or what is the actual reason for our birth, what does our destiny hold for us, or what could be the things which could take us to our soulful fulfillment, That
Absolutely.
itself will prepare us for a cognitive journey, and we will
Right.
be more cognizant about what all needs to be done and how you should have a way of life, right? So that is
Absolutely.
what I understood. I hope that is the same message which goes to the viewers, that this is
Yeah.
how numerology can help them in their lives. Am I correct?
Right. Yes, absolutely.
Perfect.
So you will relate to it that astrology and numerology are somewhat interconnected,
Much,
right?
much
It's
interconnected. Yes.
yes. Though the nature of the calculations or things are different, but actually
Yeah.
they are interconnected.
Yeah. Very much
So
interconnected. Yeah.
yeah, so numbers are everywhere, and you cannot live without them. Simple. So
True.
right from starting your day until you retire for the day, you end up seeing numbers several times in a day. So numerology is all about that, the study of the numbers.
Super, super. So now, having said this, we understood about your journey, we understood about how you got interested. Are there some examples which you can share in, say, a line or two, wherein you have seen people's lives being impacted through the use of this subject, or any particular event which you would want to relate to, so that our listeners and our viewers, they can relate more to what we are speaking.
So as I said, numbers have their own vibrations, and they are connected to our lives in both positive and negative ways. They actually influence our lives. So we have, as in, I have seen people actually that they've been doing good in their lives. When professionally if we talk about, they've been doing good, but somewhere name, fame, money, not there is no dearth to it. But at the same time, they're struggling with their personal life. So one of the reasons that the person came up and was talking to me about it, that everything is fine, perfectly fine. But somewhere my personal life is, I'm not able to understand where things are going wrong, right? So there are different numbers, different impacts. So there are numbers like you said, 0 to 9. At the same time, we have master numbers, we have karmic numbers. So karmic numbers, master numbers, how do we carry from our past lives to the current lives, right? So that is where we need to understand. So I have a very good example for that, for the person that I'm talking about. So this person was unable to understand about it because the kind of freedom that he was looking in a relationship, or the kind of understanding that he was looking for. So there was nothing wrong that he was doing, but something which he's carrying from his past life. So that is something he has to learn here. He need to understand the purpose of his life. So these are the numbers, when a person does not know about it, what is going wrong in their life, that is where numerology helps. That is where we can guide them, tell them that, where things have gone wrong. It is not this life, but might be from your past life. You have carried certain karmic energies. And this is where, this is our purpose to, the life purpose, I would say, that you need to master those purposes.
Exactly, because this brings me to a very important aspect of when we do our consultations through astrology as a subject. There is something called as pending karma, which we carry forward from the previous lives, right? And
Absolutely, yeah.
that forms the base of your existence, or your reason for birth in this particular
Right,
life. And then you move ahead with XYZ experiences, because you have to go through a certain path for an
right,
upliftment of your soul and everything in the timeline, right? And I think
right,
what you're saying exactly relates to that. In different ways, we can find out in different ways. Obviously, there are different tools,
right,
right? We are going to talk about them.
right,
What different types of numbers are there in numerology, and what do they mean, and all that stuff, right? This is
right,
interesting. This is interesting. So, say for example, a person has a date of birth, right? And
right.
1st December 1962, for example. And
Okay,
if that is a date of birth combination of that person, there is a reason why that person is born on that date of birth. He or
right.
she or anybody will not be born just like that, because in nature,
Absolutely.
nothing happens like that. Everything has a
Right.
reason, right? Now,
Reason.
I'm sure
Absolutely.
from this date of birth, numerology would be able to tell us a lot of things. Say, for
Right.
example,
Correct.
the character of a person, or what should be the name, or what should be the like what name should be the most the best one for your baby, or something like that. What
Right.
could be the positive, right?
Absolutely.
So, can you throw some light on these particular aspects of life, the most important aspects of life, and what type of combinations, numbers, which types, or rather not say types, what are the tools which you use which help you to deduce these things and improve lives? Because as we move
Right.
forward in the series, in the next episodes, we would be talking more about these to the view with the viewers, and giving them tidbits about how to do things to
Right.
improve their lives. So over to you, totally your subject. Please go ahead and explain as much as you want to, and
Right.
so that everybody has a view in the first episode, and then we carry
Right.
it forward in the next episode.
Right. So, different aspects in numerology. You talk about date of birth. You talk about names that we, give it to a newborn baby. So, when we say a name is given to a baby, I'll just take an example. So, there is a certain vibrations that is there in the numbers, right? If you are called by a name by many people at many different period of time, when people call you by that name, there are certain vibrations, and that go along with you further in your life. It
Yeah.
helps you in good ways. So one of the aspect which is something very unique in numerology, I would say, that is life path number. Right? Why I say it is unique or the most important part in numerology, because it reveals your soul mission and life purposes. Right? In a way, it helps you to understand why you came here and what you are here to do. So when I say it is unique, it means that it is non-changeable. When I say non-changeable, it means you cannot change your date of birth, right? It
Correct.
remains constant. So it's a unique number for you. It shows your ultimate life purpose of your birth, right? Lessons that we have to learn in this lifetime. Then how we are going to move in our life, different challenges that we need to face. It will not be an easy challenge at any point of time, right? Every number has their challenges, and that is why you're here to learn that life lesson. Then this mystic, actually, it is, if you look at it, just one lesson for your entire life, and you follow the patterns throughout your life, and we have to master that purpose of your life, as I said before. So what I have not learned in the past and what I'm going to learn now, that is what life path number talks about. So it
Hmm.
comes from your date of birth. And as, so I would give an example. Okay. So if we take an example of life path number 9.
Hmm.
So what are these life path number people, 9 people talks about? These are humanitarian people. Their purpose of life is to develop their spirituality, humanitarianism, wisdom, integrity, creativity. So they have to evolve, develop, aspire, and learn these qualities over the period of time, because this is their life sole purpose. They have to learn. But at the same time, when we are talking about their benefits, there are challenges also. So they're good initiators. Anything that they have to start, they are the first one to initiate. But the problem is they cannot close that thing, right? The closure is the problem because there is lack of concentration. Then they don't ask for support in their lives, right? They feel that they are they are sufficient enough or to face the challenges. They are good enough for that. So they struggle alone. Then holding on to the past, not letting go, too much attachment also. So at the end, it gives you misery. So there are positive parts as well as negative parts to it.
So
So all the
from
life path
one
numbers.
number, we can say that this a person's basic nature would be like
Yeah,
this. Now, obviously, a life path number there are 9 numbers only, and there are 6 billion people, right? So
right.
obviously, there will be number nines for so many people. What I would like to actually pinpoint here to the viewers is that this is the theme of number 9. Not necessarily every number 9 person has to be 100% similar. There will be differences because their numbers itself in the date of birth would be different. And those also will have their singularity in bearing for their entire lives, right? So what the message I'm trying to give here is that please, after listening to this video or audio, please do not say that go and calculate your life path number from any portal and say that I am number 9. Oh my God, my friend is also number 9 and my neighbor is also number 9 and all of us are like this. You might find similarities, but your life paths will be totally different. Am I correct in that?
Absolutely, Kabir.
Perfect. Now, this also brings me to the fact that if a person who is a number 9 guy initiates everything very well, right, and has the problem of closure, that means that his logical power would be fantastic. His interests would be fantastic, right? And he or she would be a very protective person also. Because the insecurity which you spoke about, the not letting go which you spoke about, comes only when you are when you have insecurity. And when you have insecurity, you are a very protective guy. And obviously, the ego will also be high, right?
Very high. And because they don't want to take support.
They will not take support. Their ego is very high. Ego is not from this point, and ego is not from the point of vanity. The ego is more a wall so that they do not disclose their weaknesses.
Right.
That is what the ego over here means, right? And it will also be seen that these type of people are very, very, suddenly a burst of energy will come and suddenly a burst of energy will go, right? The continuation is a big problem, right? And they will have fantastic moral values, but they need orders and direction. They can work in black and white surroundings. They cannot work in gray surroundings. Right? Midways they don't have, right? No. And this exactly brings me to the point that when we look at number 9, through numerology, this is represented by the planet Mars. Or Graha Mars, right? And these are the exact characteristics of that Graha, Mars. Mars is Mangal, right? Mangal means good, right? So these number 9 people are very important in the society itself because they always think for the good of others. At the same time, they have their positives and they have their drawbacks, which everybody has. Only that if we are able to understand this and understand this much better, then it's easier for us to lead our lives and frame our way of life accordingly, right?
Absolutely.
Any specific things which you want to add, or any specific general things which these number 9 people could do, say for example, to improve the power of their number 9 or vibration of their number 9, so that they can have a much more meaningful life?
Right. So for all these things, we have remedies also. Remedies does not mean that we are taking off all the challenges in the life. No, it is like mitigating it, understanding to minimize the effect of that number 9, right? The challenges of that number. So chanting of Hanuman Chalisa, it's one of the best options that number 9 can go for. Then offering to the poor, like saffron, red cloth, or copper, red chandan, something, to attract positive energy, and making an offering of that cause that you're facing right now. So such kind of offerings help them to bring in more positive energy in their life, to more sticking to their plans.
Fantastic. Because yes, you're correct. See, remedies do not mean that you are changing the path of life or changing the destiny itself. That is not possible. It can only be an umbrella which you can give to a person so that they can pass through the rain, right? So 10-20% effect, 30% effect, like that. That's depending upon their destiny. But at least they will have some relief in terms of the negative challenges, which the challenges and the negativity which the vibrations might bring in, if it is not featured properly in their lives, right? And this
Hmm.
also brings me to one of the best part. As a remedy, because of the psychological construct of the number 9 people, it would be very beneficial if they have a disciplined routine in their life. Number 9 people
Absolutely. Yes.
would not be generally very
They
disciplined, or
fluctuate.
they fluctuate routine. So
Yeah.
if
Right.
they somehow they are able to uh, force a routine on themselves, or
Hmm.
surrender to a person who can force a routine on themselves, their life
Right.
changes around, because they have a lot. They are intelligent, and their initiation power is fantastic. They will,
Right.
with that, they will be able to close things and they will move in life. Right?
Absolutely. Right.
Makes sense. Makes sense. This is very interesting, Renu, because see, when we do astrology consultations, we need date of birth, time of birth, place of birth, three things. Every
Right.
time you might have three things, but many a times you don't know whether your time of birth is correct or not. Date
Right.
of birth and place of birth, so you still will have, but
Yeah.
there are many people who do not have that too, right? The place of
Right.
birth they will have, date of birth also somewhere they will have. Okay, fine, but time of birth is a big challenge, right? Now, if
Absolutely.
people are facing that particular challenge, wherein horoscopes can't be made, and you really want some help in your life, they can easily, we can easily help them from the aspect of numerology, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Without even making a natal horoscope of astrology. Here, a different type
Right.
of a thing will be made. But obviously, from
Absolutely.
an analysis standpoint of view, but your only date of birth would be able to tell you what needs to be done in your life. Like this,
Right.
are there other tools apart from life path number, which we can just say, talk about in 2 minutes, so that people have a view of what's coming up in the next series, next episodes?
So there are not many things. As I said, it's just not about life path number.
Yeah,
From your date of birth, from your name itself, it has vibrations like destiny number comes in, your heart number, your personality number, your ultimate number. So there are a series of things
series
that
of things.
calculates. Yes, there is a calculation, entire calculation is done, just like astrology, right? We
Yeah.
have numerological chart as well, which talks about year on year. It also talks about your personal month, personal days, personal colors that you can go for. It talks about different crystal stones that might become as a remedy for you in future.
Hmm.
So we are looking at it. But
Super.
yeah, one thing I
Super.
would say
Go
that
ahead.
for everyone that, no number is perfect. So we
Right.
need to keep that in mind that no number is perfect. Everyone has to face their side of challenges in any
See,
phase of life.
see, the mere fact we are born is to go through a set of challenges, because we have to
Absolutely.
improve
Learn.
ourselves in the journey of life, right? So
Absolutely.
everybody should understand that, and everybody
Yeah.
understands that. There are so many
Right.
clients we talk to. Everybody understands that. Only that they come to us with a little hope that their challenges can be faced much more better, much more easily,
Right.
much more better. So obviously we are there to help with that, right? So
Right.
let's do this. Anyways, we have started a fantastic thing today, right? In the next episode, we are going to start taking up one by one all these tools and numbers, and explaining more, giving tidbits about general things what can be done to improve.
Right.
If there are any queries of anybody which come to us, we can answer them. Like that, we will keep
Absolutely.
the interaction going on, and that will be a fantastic journey, because it's just begun today. But the amount of knowledge this particular subject has, and the amount
Yeah.
of good this subject can do to others, is manifold. So we will take it step by step, and I really am very happy that both of us are sitting here and talking today, and bringing this
Right.
entire aspect to the world. This is not a new aspect, because many people would have heard it, but it's all about whatever good we can do from our knowledge for others, it should always be done, right? With
Absolutely.
that, if there are any other questions, we can certainly take up as they come in form of comments or emails, right? So to all the viewers, all the listeners, please check out our website www.edu-astro.com, and you can contact us on contact at edu-astro.com, edu-astro.com. And at the same time, if you want to learn more, you can watch our YouTube channel, listen to our Spotify channel. All this will be there, plus a lot of other interesting stuff. And obviously, the blogs on our website. You will find amazing amount of material over there, right? So with that, we'll take your leave for today. Thank you very much, and please do like, share, subscribe, and we will see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kabir. Thank you.